Welcome to Shooting It Straight. I'm Pistol Pete here with Ricky Revolver.
How we doing, ladies and gentlemen? Well, I don't have any new updates for our social media, but I'm just going to kind of go through them, just a little refresher. So, you can go to shootingitstraight.com. That's our official website. That takes you straight to Podbean, which is our headquarters for our podcast here. So that's kind of where I'm kind of mainly at, is Podbean, kind of looking to either see the new and improved that they're putting out on there, and seeing what we can get our hands on, see what we can get our little way. So yeah, we're on Podbean. We're on Spotify. It's another app that we're on. Pretty famous app, I'm pretty sure. I think everybody kind of knows Spotify.
Never
I think.
heard of her.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. Not everybody then, I guess. Right. Over Pete's head. That's okay. That's okay. That's one.
Now we know.
That's okay. That's only one. That's okay. But we have TuneIn plus Alexa, iHeartRadio, the Gram. We're on the Gram. So it's look us up on the Gram. We're kind of trying to come up with some pictures and some ideas.
We're new at the Gram. The Gram's.
Yeah. It's definitely new. So I don't think I ever had one. I don't think, but.
Well, we tried to throw out a little. We tried to throw out a little page, a little Pistol Pete and Ricky Revolver on the old Facebook.
Oh yeah, but that was your gig there. You can give them the update on that.
Well, I'll tell you the update. That's not going well. Apparently, Mark Zuckerberg, who I think is a douchebag, but either way, whatever, is having a little issue with the username Pistol Pete and Ricky Revolver. I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's not really pro Second Amendment there, so we're kind of, I think, fighting a losing battle on that one.
Oof. I had a feeling it was going to come down to that, probably.
Yeah, I mean, they want to silence you. They're not down for... I mean, it literally said, it wasn't even like, hey, I want to take this picture of my pistol. It was literally just he wasn't happy with the word pistol. Mm-hmm. And then I don't think I can. It
doesn't matter how you used it.
That's lame. That's lame.
Yeah, it didn't matter how you used it, where you used it, anyway, in the form of a sentence how you used it.
They didn't even let me submit it for approval and make me wait 3 or 4 days. They just said nah. So there's that. I'm still working on it. We're trying to come up with that. But,
well, at least he gave you the no. I'm still waiting from Google.
Google?
Still. Yeah, Google.
And Apple, I thought. Or is Google the one that's...
No. So Google Podcast was the one that's... They haven't got to it yet. Right. They used the... I'm pretty sure the word COVID was in my email. I'd have to go back in the email. But so we haven't... It's still pending, let's say.
Well,
there's no update on it.
I don't want to shit on your parade there, Ricky, but Silicon Valley's probably not down with the word pistol either. So Google's probably going to be a no.
That's probably why it's still pending. It'll be pending until our name runs out.
It's a good thing I'm persistent.
Yeah, I'll keep sending them.
I'll wait.
Because you'll just wait till the very end, and I'll tell you how persistent I will be.
I'll wait.
And then YouTube. Hope you guys know that we're on YouTube also. Kind of a cool thing with YouTube now with Podbean is they'll let us pretty much... Podbean will input it into YouTube for us. So we don't have to do too much work that way unless we want to change the background photo, which I don't know if you were on that yet on YouTube to see the post-game criminals.
I did.
Did you see the background?
I didn't note it. Maybe I wasn't. No,
it just wasn't our logo.
Okay, yeah, no, I was not on there yet.
Yeah, I think it was
that one.
Yeah, it was Podbean's FM player. It was that kind of a logo on the back. It still had our little logo, but not boom.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, take a look at it. So YouTube, give us a look on there. Let us know what you think. See if you like I guess you're not really going to be watching anything anyways, but maybe if you like the first logo better, the second logo better. But
don't sell short. Hit subscribe.
Yep. I was just gonna say, and then don't forget hit that little bell button up there, little green button. I think you can make it gray, and then just go all, and then gives you all the episodes updates. Right when I submit it right into Podbean, boom, it's gonna put it into YouTube, and then you're gonna get it right onto either your laptop or cell phone or whatever you use for your podcast. So pretty cool that way. Player FM, that was another newer one that we were on. I believe that was last week. I haven't even been on there to look at it, so I'm not sure what's all about that. So to be honest with you, I kind of slacked on that. It was kind of a long week, let's just say.
Really long week.
Yeah, we'll put a pin in that.
All right.
And last but very not least, Apple Podcasts. So I don't think we're going to be able to get on Apple. I don't know why. So when I sent them the email, they said that we were accepted. 4 hours later, we were rejected. So I'm thinking probably, now that I'm looking at it, it's probably the same thing.
You know, it just dawned on me. Yeah, maybe. Or maybe they're having an internal battle. Maybe they're like a 50-50 split. Maybe some of them think we're cool, so they're like, hell yeah. And then after a 4-hour meeting, it's like, oh, no. Because you've sent it now, 2 or 3 times? And it's the same thing every time. It's an acceptance, and then 4 hours later, maybe they spend 4 hours arguing about it. So maybe there is some listeners. We just haven't made it there yet. Well, we're still pending there in my mind, too.
So, yes, that was the 3rd time. I'm about to send it for the 4th, just to keep flooding it.
Persistence.
Flooding.
Persistence.
Yep. That's all you gotta do. Sooner or later, they're just like, you know what? These guys will not leave us alone about it. Let's add them in there and see what happens. And then it's just going to go poof.
Yeah.
For them.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you're welcome.
I mean, what do they got to lose? It's going to go good or it's not.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well. Keep it up, Apple. And
we're just going to keep on sending them.
Yeah.
All right,
so keep getting my emails. That's what we're on. Nothing new. Just kind of just the main old ones that we're on. So, if you're on the gram, drop us a DM. If you're on YouTube, give us those subscribes. But other than that, yeah, that's what I got for those.
All right. Well,
you want me to unpin that rough work week?
Yeah, it was a tough week. I just want to say that everything that sucked about 2020 still sucks in 2021 because we're still doing all the same stuff, except for, I guess, indoor dining here opened up to 25% capacity, so you can go in and sit down from time to time now.
Yeah, I'll probably just still be the 75%, probably.
That does not.
Yeah, just get her to take out, and either go, back home. There ain't much other places.
So that's good, but it's just still following us around in conjunction with the normal things that happen. I was pretty upset this week. Rush Limbaugh passed away. Did I tell you that?
You did tell me that, actually.
That was a tough one to take. I usually spend about 3 hours of my day listening to his radio show, which I know that we promised we were going to tread lightly on this kind of situation, so we won't get into much of that, but he was a good guy, smart guy, intelligent guy, and I learned a lot of stuff from, I'm kind of a Rush baby anyways. As far back as I can remember, my dad always used to listen to him. Probably one of the only things decent that I got out of my dad. But let's pin that one for a later day.
All right, I'll put the pin back into that one.
All right, so either way, I enjoyed his show. There's been a lot of shade thrown around on the internet.
I have seen that.
You've seen that, yeah. And that, the majority of what I have seen on there is not true. He, like I said, Rush was an extremely talented individual that pretty much made radio, talk radio, AM radio. He did a lot for charity. He was smart. And most of the people that are unhappy and have a bunch of negative things to say about him, I think, are those opposite end of the spectrum, let's say. Like, they have different ideologies and don't exactly agree with what he's saying, and they take it to an extreme. So that was kind of tough. We, hopefully, he was battling cancer.
Yeah, that's not good.
It's like stage 4 lung cancer or something. They diagnosed him last December and told him that I think it was like he didn't have a year or something like that, or he wouldn't see Christmas or something. So he made it. He made it longer than their projection, but finally had to hang it up. He used to say all the time that, and I think that some people didn't like him because they thought he was arrogant, but he really wasn't. He used to say all the time that he was the talent on loan from God, and that one day God was going to reclaim that talent, and looks like that happened. Anyway, so rest in peace, Rush.
Yeah, rest in peace, Rush. I personally, I never listened to him, so I mean, I can't say
that's why you tell me you don't know anything about
good nor bad, but I mean, I see that he meant a lot to you, so rest in peace, Rush.
Yeah, rest in peace, Rush. Other than that, I had a rough work week. It was a little bit shorter than normal, but sometimes
a bit shorter.
It
than
was
normal.
a full 5 days.
Don't
fool around.
It's like a salt in the wound.
It was 5 days for sure, but it was a little shorter for 3 of those days than normal. So that was kind of nice, but that just throws like my whole schedule off. So it drags on, and then the snow. I can't complain too much about the snow though and the weather, because I mean it was cold. It was cold last week, but we spent the majority of this winter at like 45 degrees. So
yeah, seriously,
can't complain too much.
No, I love it. Bring it.
What about Texas? You seen anything going on in Texas right now?
Nope, haven't seen nothing there. Nope. Yes, that's bad.
Let's let that be a lesson.
A lot of hopes and thoughts and prayers go that way for those people, because
prayers for Texas.
I can't imagine going through 2020 and now.
My aunt lives in Texas, and I guess it's not very supreme, but let's let that be a lesson that why 100% green energy is not going to be those windmills. I mean, they're good till they're not.
Till they freeze.
You know what? I did do a little more research on that, though. I guess you can winterize those things.
Well, they have to. I mean, because they have them.
Yeah, we have them here.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And I guess you can winterize those things, but in Texas it never gets that cold, so that was freak. Which brings me to another thing that kind of like was really over the top for me. A friend of mine today said that China, believe it or not, is controlling the weather now. So let me ring that one. Let me ring that one off your mind. They got weather experiments. So who knows? Maybe
you know who I think is controlling the weather?
Mother Nature.
Mother Nature, and you know who I think plays a role in the weather? Humans.
Yeah. How so?
So when I was a kid, we used to go ice fishing every year. Snow every year, and it was to good amounts. It's where we had snow days, where there was so much snow in the mountains when it, when you get all the runoff, it flooded. So we had to take the boat to the bus.
Snow day. I was going to say snow days for school or not, because we didn't. Like our principal, superintendent, when I was in school, like if you died, you died. They just sent you to school.
That dude's whack.
If the dude, whack for sure.
Wacky tobacco.
If the bus crashes, the bus crashes. There was never any like, oh, it's freezing rain outside.
Is that guy in jail?
Send it.
Is he in prison?
No, you know what I did find out later? Total douchebag.
Sounds like attempted murder.
He had conspiracy.
Oh, I hit something on the nail. Did I? Or on the
no, I'm saying
it
was like conspiracy to commit murder or something like that. Whatever they call that. Like it was definitely like some offshoot of premeditation. But either way, we found
a crime show thing that was so far over my head. I don't even know where that even went and where that even came from.
We found out later when I was in high school that he had like You know how you have so many like days of school that you have to complete, and then they give you the end days. So sometimes if you have too many snow days, you have to go over.
Okay.
He had him and his wife had a condo or a timeshare or a something in Hawaii, and he would always go there right after the end of the school year. So I started to put the puzzle pieces together, and I'm like, oh, so he couldn't spare 2-3 days, because if you go over that allotted amount of time or whatever, you have to make up those days. Not for him. So he just sent it.
Yeah, no, see, that's...
All right, anyways, you had your snow days. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I'll let you... I kept it. No, so we always used to have the cold weather. Always. But now, like you just said, we're rocking this winter in 45-degree weather.
I think that... Well, so how are we contributing? Because I think it's just like a cycle.
So hear me out.
It's just a cycle.
So, I'm not against people. I'm not against... Okay, I'm against people that do bad things. I'm against certain people.
I don't like very many people in general, so I'm not going to judge you. Stop looking at me like I'm judging you.
I don't either. I don't like very many people either.
All right.
So, and it's just, everybody flooding this way. I understand why. I get it. Because we've lived it pretty lucky for where we're at, for what went on, from what we've seen on the internet, from all that jargon, which it ain't too far away. But just like all the rioting and all that stuff, like I didn't want no part of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like you want to protest? There's nothing wrong with protesting, but once you start rioting,
there is wrong with vandalism. Yeah,
that's when you start getting things crazy.
That is true. Let's rein it back in there. Are you telling me vandalism?
No. I'm just saying. So once you get all the people moving this way, you have all the car flow, and let's be real. Can everybody's car pass emissions? No.
You're not helping our cause right now.
I know I'm not helping our cause. But all I'm saying is...
If the government is listening to this podcast and we end up having to all drive electric cars just because they heard Ricky Revolver saying no one can pass emissions...
All I'm saying is...
I'm going to be upset.
I tried my keister off to pass my truck in emissions, and I could never get it to pass. And I don't know why. I took it to the dealership, or not to the dealership, but to the mechanic down there, and they didn't... There's nothing wrong.
Well, let's be realistic.
But then I drive down the road, and then you see this clunker that's just fuming out black smoke, and he's got a nice brand new license plate with tabs crawling down the road. And how does that pass?
Let's be realistic here, though. If we're trying to throw shade at the Californians right now for moving to the Pacific Northwest, because I think that's kind of where we're going when I read in between the lines, that I'm going to...
I have family in California, so I can't throw shade.
Yeah, I think that...
I'd like for them to get out of there.
I think that we lived there briefly when I was a kid, too. So either way, if we're throwing shades at the Californians, I'm going to have to go against my better judgment and stand up for them now because they are like a blueprint. If you brought that car from California, I'm not even sure that thing is running on gas. That thing is running on something else because in order to drive that thing in California, that thing had to be clean.
So more people, you bring more heat. I'm not saying pollution there, it's heat.
Okay.
It's all heat in the air. Everything's pumping out heat. So you get more people here, you're pumping out more heat. You got more buildings coming up, you got more people moving in here, you got more heaters cranked up. Heat rises.
You are not helping our cause right now.
No,
If Joe Biden is listening to this, they're going to come in here and strip all the insulation or slap solar panels on our roof. Oh, man. This is getting deep.
I'm already getting solar panels. If you get enough solar panels and you start kicking energy back to say
a Vista,
yeah, they'll start paying you money.
Well, yeah. Solar panels are fantastic for supplemental, but they're not perfect for giving you all the power. Like when it's overcast
obviously. I mean,
let's look. Like that. Dude, I'll tell you something cool though. While you talk about solar panels, though. So and California, and now that I think about it, once a year they have an event in California that makes California worth going to, which actually is California's a pretty cool state. Like the things that you can ride your dirt bike and race your dirt bike or your dune buggy or whatever, your Jeep in the desert. You can ski, and then you can go night surfing, or you can surf and then ski. And then have a little bonfire with your... Well, they're probably against bonfires too. But
surfing turf.
Either way, I'm saying you can do a lot of stuff there. It just kind of sucks that politics and stuff like that have damaged that state so bad that
Once politics get into anything.
I hear you. Anyway, so we went to Southern California every year. Down southern in Johnson Valley, California, they do an off-road race that we actually attended last year. I think I told you about that. Mm-hmm. Coming back, I can't remember if it was when we were in Nevada or if we were still in California at the time. They have like these huge solar panel like farms basically. It's just like miles and they had like a training thing too, because we saw some military jets, I think it was, flying through there. Or maybe I'm confusing that with a YouTube video that I watched that I knew was in the area. Either way.
Either way, it sounds really cool.
Either way, it was bad A, because it's like like in Top Gun when they're racing through the desert down there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was like that, and you could see that might have been a video. But either way, they have these solar panel fields. It looks like a lake. Like when the lake's all calm and looks all glassy. When you look across this thing for hundreds of acres, it's just solar panels.
Dang.
But
how much would that cost? Holy shnikes.
But the difference between there and the roof of your house is it's sunny there all the time.
Well, and if I put anything on the roof of my house, by the winds that we get or the trees that are around me, let's just say, so with my apartment.
That was weird too, 100%. I think we had more windstorm, like hardcore windstorms here this year than ever before, and more than any other shady weather we had.
Yeah, I told Helen this when I was looking out, because she's when she did something outside, and then she's like, oh, there's a barbecue cover in the yard, and the wind's it's just ripping, dude. It's just ripping down the road, and I walk out, and I was like, is it nice? And she's like, I don't know, go look. So I step out the door and I'm looking and I'm like, nah, dude, it don't look like a Traeger one, but we'll let it go down the road further.
Dude, that reminds me. Anyway, finish your story. I got a story about the wind.
And it's like, because I like yard sailing, but the wind that we got, it was literally like just a drive-by yard sale.
Yeah, it was like yard sale every night.
You just stand right in the front yard and you just went, trash. Oh, barbecue cover. No. No.
I was a little more concerned about the windstorms because I had a couple of trees that had to, they were either coming down during the windstorm or I had to take them down, which is extra sketch when you're trying to take them down in a windstorm, because when you have that notch and you start that back cut, the root ball was moving in the ground and the notch started to rock and pinch my saw, and it's sketch. So I have a funny story about a windstorm, and Maggie got to live through a windstorm when we were down there at that desert race last year, and
I'll just show you that briefly.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's what I did with the windstorm, and then we had that snow, and then it was like wet, and then it froze.
Oh yeah, that was
the trees.
The leaves weren't even off the trees, so you had all the snow and the ice and the leaves and everything. I mean, we lost a ton of them here. I had my car trailer full of branches. I had to help my neighbor. We were trying to knock snow out of the trees to try to free up the branches, because they were like, if you walked outside here, it's so quiet at night and all you could hear were tree branches snapping.
Oh yeah.
It was crazy.
Spooky.
Yeah, it was crazy. So I having to cut those down in the windstorm was pretty sketch.
Oof.
So when we were down there at that off-road race last year, they had said on the loudspeaker or whatever that the weather service was predicting like 70 mile an hour winds or something like that, 70, 75. And the look on, I wish I could have taken a picture of the look on Margaret's face, because she looked instantly panicked. Because there's like 60,000 people in the middle of the desert, like they make a town.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, Tom, that is crazy talk. I'm like, that is crazy. I was like, you might get some gusts and they'll probably be like 50. They always like overshoot. It'll be nothing. And we have like our camper set up there and like all of our stuff, because we're going to be there for an entire week. And I would say like about 6, the wind blew there kind of all the time, but like nothing too crazy. And it started to kick up at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And it started to blow.
Oh,
I mean, like, I'm not Like, I'll bet you it was 70-mile-an-hour winds sustained. It wasn't even
Dang.
gust. It was sustained for like a solid 13 hours. You couldn't sleep. All the jacks and everything were down on the camera. Everything was secure. And the whole thing was just rocking in the wind. And we were kind of on the outskirts because we knew more people would pack in there. And we wanted to be on the outer edge so that people would fill in more towards the like town that they made.
Mm-hmm.
And so I say to my buddy that was there with us, I said, man, kind of wish we were packed in there in between some of those other campers. And he said, no, that's crazy. Can you imagine all the shit that would be flying around in there? And I was like, yeah, that's actually probably a solid point. I said, but we're kind of like sitting like pretty vulnerable out here or whatever, you know?
Sitting ducks.
Oh yeah, sitting ducks for sure. And so we're like watching out the window, and you can see in like the generator lights, like you couldn't even tell which way the wind was blowing. And it was like a tornado for like 13 hours, and you were in the eye of the storm.
Great.
And so we're watching in the lights, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, get away from the window, because you see this something coming through the air, and it just slams into the side of my camper trailer. And I was like, dude, what was that thing? That thing sounded like a brick. And we went out there with a light. It was like a cardboard box because the wind was pushing it up against the tire. But it no kidding, sounded like a brick. And there was just things flying around all night. Like, we only got hit like the one time, but you could see it all through the wind, like this giant yard sale you're talking about. And it goes on and on and on for hours, to the point where I was like, oh man, this is no good. We should leave. And then I'm like, we can't leave. You can't leave. You can't pick it up. We'll blow over as soon as we hit the highway. We wake up the next day. It's sunny. And there's just a little breeze, like what I would call a normal breeze there. Mm-hmm. It's sunny. Nothing. You don't see anything. And for that long, for the wind to be blowing that long, I figured I was going to walk out and it was just going to be this giant yard sale. And I walk out, and it dawns on me for a minute, and Margaret comes strolling out the door, and she's like, it's really clean out here. Like, that didn't blow the wind. That was crazy wind, and it didn't like blow anything around. And I was like, man, whatever you guys are looking for is about 200 miles that way.
Oh yeah, and it's in a big pile somewhere.
Dude, that was the craziest thing I've ever seen or lived through. That was weird. So, that was just my my windstorm story.
I'd kind of like to veer off a track. I told my coworker I was gonna give him a shout out today.
Mm-hmm.
Because so my truck, it's got a little bit of a, let's say, a muffler leak.
Shocker. And you couldn't pass emissions?
A little exhaust. Well,
all right, anyways, we won't go back to that one.
But an exhaust. No, this was a previous truck.
Okay.
The emissions was. But, so, I told him, and, because it's, which my little brothers would appreciate this, it sounds like a little go-kart, mm-hmm. which the video games we used to play, and it's like, go-kart. Pretty cool. It's pretty cool. But, and it sounds like if you get on it, it just sounds like a go-kart. Just when I have to get on the freeway down here.
Like the little fart can mufflers.
Oh, it's just going. Well,
fantastic.
It's ripped. It cracked in half.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still there because it's got the rubber knobs that hold your exhaust pipe up and
so
from
it's
route
like
on
squeaking
around
as it rubs together too.
Well, so it like sheared metal off. Mm-hmm. So there's like a gap. Well, my coworker, Master T, he made himself a metal crank, or like a metal roller, mm-hmm. and he rolled me a piece of metal that's the diameter of my pipe, mm-hmm. and he's like, he's pretty good at welding and Frankenstein stuff together. Anytime like I'm getting ready to throw stuff away, like,
yeah,
see anything here?
Dude, yeah, he probably does. Hold on, what are you worried about welding it for? You told us.
No, so hear me out. So he's so he made the circle, right? Mm-hmm. And now he's gonna weld like a nut here, a nut there, and the nut here, and then he's gonna get a bolt that we can screw in from the other side, so it sucks it together. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like the hose clamps, but
Why don't you just use hose clamps?
Oh, I just figured
You
last
used to
better.
tell me coming to town from the backwoods was exciting, and you're afraid to use a hose clamp?
I just figured it's gonna last longer. Hose
Alright.
clamp underneath the
Alright.
rig and all the
Yeah.
salt or whatever they use for the roads.
Oh, they don't make shit like they used to anyways, period. So it's going to last like 3 to 5 years and you'll be doing it again.
Well,
I don't mean
hopefully I'll like trade it in and get something cool. I mean, it's cool. I like it right now, but I really miss my Toyota.
Toyota? What?
It was just a Toyota. It was a 91 Toyota pickup.
Maybe if you get that next round of stimulus they're promising everyone, you could put a little down payment on a new one.
Little down payment? Dude.
Hold
yikes.
on a second. Let's circle back to that, by the way. You said that Helen told you yours was off limits.
What was?
You're half of the stimulus.
Yeah, we filed our taxes too.
Yeah, how'd that go for you? The good news is I think we're on the old tax plan right now, so we're not gonna just really see the repayment for all those stimulus just yet. I think they got to amp that up. That'll probably be next year that we start.
So have you filed taxes yet? No. So when we did ours, it asked you how much you got for your stimulus package. So I don't know. Do you guys file joint or separate? Joint. So
I thought they weren't doing that. I thought you didn't have to answer that. They said.
Well, yours truly, Ricky Revolver, had to answer that.
Okay.
So they ask your first, the stimulus check, and then whatever the second one was called. It's like recovery assistance or whatever it was called. And then it shows that one. And then it asks, did you get this amount and did you get this amount? And it says, it doesn't matter what you say because we're either going to give you more if you got less, but if you got more, it's okay. You don't know anything.
Was this... Okay, I see what you're saying.
This is
they
for the
probably
stimulus
want you
check.
to answer it because they had some sort of thing floating around where, like, they sent it out. Some people didn't get it. So they tried.
That's crazy.
So they tried to say, like, that they didn't receive it, and then they were like expecting to get a check or whatever. And I think that what they were doing is that they weren't going to send you a check if you didn't get the check. But when tax time came around, you could claim it at that point in time that you didn't get it, and then they would add it into your refund.
Yeah.
And so you were still going to get it. So that's great news. That's fantastic. Because what if you really needed that, like last April or May or whenever they handed them out and they're like, hey, good news, you didn't get it, but next year, if you can survive this entire year, you just check that little box on the return thing and we'll make sure you get that when we deposit your money. Or here's another one. What if you had to pay taxes of some sort because let's say your income was a little lower, but you claimed too many dependents or however, and you ended up owing a little money. That way they know they can not send you that amount too.
So, I mean, I owed, but not federal. I owed state.
Yeah. Well, I think Idaho always makes you pay them. Regardless, I think it's like at least $10 or $15. I don't know. They're cheap.
Let's just say Helen's not a big fan of being around me when I'm filing taxes.
Why?
I'm just not.
You're not a huge fan of just giving your money to the government so they can spend
No,
however
so
they
you know,
want?
then it's like ask me at the end. It's like, so when do you want to pay your money, your state money?
After
You can pay it by this certain date. It's like 4/16/2010.
Do they have,
I'm like 4/16/2010.
Do they have like an other box where you can click like the other and it wants you to give a description and you can just type in like after I finished the 6-month extension I requested? There isn't anything like that?
No, I didn't see any other option I could have clicked on to either lessen the blow or I just wanted to pay at the very last minute just to do like the last little. When do you want to pay? 4/16?
Well, yeah,
4/16.
because...
And Helen's like, just pay earlier because if something doesn't go through and then you can't pay. And
it just has to be postmarked. Just has to be postmarked by the 15th.
Oh, it's all direct deposit.
Well, either way, it's ridiculous. So back to that thing though. They just wanted you to check because if you were shorted, they were going to send you the difference. But okay. So,
but if you got more than what they're showing, they're not going to make you pay it.
So
that's what they said.
So I thought that pretty much is just taken care of for what they shorted the people that probably actually really needed it.
Yeah, we didn't get much back.
I was waiting to see how much fun we're all going to have when they tally up the damage of all the checks they did send and then start raising our taxes so that we can all pay it back together. That'll be fun. That'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, yeah. Just playing like a big old game of Red Rover. Just having a blast.
So,
Can't wait.
So they did promise everybody that, you know, when they got elected, they were going to issue that other amount. So Helen's not going to let you have your half for a down payment on a new truck?
No. No, new payment in the truck. See, so we're trying to get into a house right now.
Yeah. Well, let me drop a little bomb on you. You should do it sooner than later.
It's been later.
Okay.
Sooner was like
well,
before
you should do
2020.
it sooner than later because all those interest points or whatever are starting to go back up.
Well,
And as I know we're going to tread lightly, all I'm going to say is when the economy gets pounded into the ground, those are just going to even go higher. I mean, I don't want to rain on your parade, but
it's gonna be. I wanted to go across the border because it's a lot cheaper for me to live there.
the good news is...
Because I'm an outdoorsman. And
well, I agree with you.
outdoorsman, non-resident,
Yeah, that gets expensive, but
in a hurry.
I don't really think it matters. I think when the bus stops at communism, we're all going to be paying the same regardless of what state you live in. I'm just kidding. That was a joke. So when you get your house,
Hopefully.
hopefully I'll come over and help you put the solar panels on the roof.
I appreciate that. That's good news because I'm not much of a roof guy. So,
Well, where did you plan on putting them?
I don't know.
Dude, you know what'd be even more badass?
A treehouse?
Instead of
Agreed.
you do the solar panels, and I'm going to see if I can get contract of some sort for someone to come out and put one of those giant ass windmills in my backyard.
Yeah, right, dude. Yeah, right. There's no way.
They have to. Dude, there's plenty of room to put one of those up here.
They're like, nah.
Those things are like 900 feet tall. The blades will clear, and there's plenty of room around the... Okay, a smaller version. A smaller version. There has to be a smaller version that they can install at your house of some sort. And let's see which one. Let's do an experiment. Let's see which one yields more.
I mean, if we're gonna go
benefit.
all out, then I'm gonna make like a big pond, you know,
Like
Or
the-
what's
like
those
the
old
field I told you
school,
about?
like those
Oh, no.
old school wheel, like you know the
Like the turbine things they have
turbines,
on the dam.
yeah.
No,
Just an
solar
old
panels.
school one, man. Just slowly.
No,
Dude, I
make
can
a-
watch that.
make
That's
one of those-
satisfying. Watching the
make
water
one of
just
those
pour out
solar
and go back
panel.
in.
Well, yeah,
That's cool.
we're trying to produce electricity though.
Well, it does
Not
slowly but
something,
surely.
something aesthetically pleasing. You should make the.
Hey, slow and steady, man. Okay.
You should make one of those solar panel fields like I told you about.
You
Dude,
know what
think
it is
about
to
it.
even buy property right now? As much to buy a house before.
Yeah, just bare property.
Yeah. There's nothing. You ain't even been cleared off. You got to clear everything. There's stumps.
Dude,
there's carcasses.
The house situation right now is a
Animal
slippery slope.
carcasses.
Yeah,
Animal carcasses.
well, that you know of.
Oh.
The housing market right now is a really slippery slope.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. I just tell Helen not to put all of her eggs in one basket. So try not to get too excited about it, because I mean everything's like $300,000. If to get into something legit, base, you're looking at $300,000.
Oh yeah, 100%. And if it's like,
And it's like $300,000 for Ricky Revolver here. That's a chunk of change
well, and
that I probably ain't ever gonna.
and the
get paid off.
other problem is if you find something in that like sweet spot where everybody's looking, dude, you got like minutes.
Yeah,
you gotta
true.
you have to take a temporary layoff at your job, which by the way is going to hinder your home purchase situation, just so that you can be waiting by the phone when your realtor calls and says, we got to go look at this thing that was listed 30 seconds ago. And then when you're on the way there,
She's like,
oh, duh, you know what? It's pending.
too bad you missed all day at work. Too.
Yeah. By the way, you're not going to want to go to work tomorrow, just in case. It's a rough road. I wish you luck with that.
So, I'm done talking about all that
Okay.
jargon. That's all downer stuff.
Yeah, I know. That was downer.
So-
Dude, sometimes you got to be realistic.
I got a
felt like
question.
we were realistic. What's up?
I got a question for you.
Yeah, I got
And
one for you, too.
I thought about it I should have said it last.
Hold on, is this going to be funny? Because you should
yes.
probably let me go first, because mine's more of a downer.
Yes, mine's going to be funny.
Okay,
yours
mine's
is
more
a
of a
downer?
downer, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Remember how I told you that everything that sucked about last year sucks about this year?
Yeah.
So I want to see. Mostly, I think that a lot of people know this is happening, and for the ones that don't, it's going to be a shocker. I want to see what I want to know what your opinion is. So you're a huge fan of like the possible COVID vaccine, right? Or are you not going to do that? When it's your turn, you're young, you got time. Let grandma get it first. But
so
you going to do it or no?
You know, I have people on both sides of the fence. I'm on the fence, man. And it's a stressful spot to be
for
in.
sure.
Because you're getting it from both sides.
Yeah, 100%.
You're getting it, don't get it, and you're getting it. Why wouldn't you get it? Are you dumb? And that's a stressful spot to be.
It's a slippery slope too, for sure. It will make Thanksgiving interesting, but
so I don't know yet. And see, I'm sketched because I have had full blown asthma since I was brought into this world.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't seen anything or heard anything about asthmatics.
What's Mama Ricky want you to do?
Well, Mama Ricky says no. I don't think they're gonna get it.
The real Mama Ricky or the boss you live with?
Well, wouldn't that be?
Yeah, well, either way, we'll cover
Helen?
that later. Yeah. What does Helen say?
I don't know. I mean, I think we're just waiting. We just want to see me. I want to see more physical evidence. I don't like talk.
Yeah.
Because you can say whatever the heck you want, and people will eat that up in a bowl of cereal like it's just Monday morning. But me, I like to see actual physical evidence.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going to go with this.
How many people have got it, to what are the side effects, to how many people did this, to how many people did that. I just like seeing all
it's
the
great.
studies.
It's great that it was produced so quickly. Here's where I'm at with it. Like, I'm not going to throw shade at you if you want to take it. I am not anti-vaccine, but I'm not going to take it because I'm young and I'm healthy, and there's a lot more people that want to take it that are more in that wheelhouse that need to take it and are worried about it. So I'll say this one, like, I'm a huge fan of the vaccine for polio. I don't want nothing to do with that. That's been around for a long time, and we know how that's going to... Right now, someone takes it and they pop off with their second and third head. I'm not down for that shit. So I'm going to ride that one out and just see how that one works. But I do know people that are older that do want it, that are huge fans of it, and that's their prerogative. Now, here's where I have a problem, even though I say I'm not going to take it, and I want to see what your opinion is. Are you familiar with who Gary Ridgway is?
No.
You're not?
No.
You live under a rock?
No, I don't actually live under a rock.
So, Gary Ridgway was the Green River Killer. Okay?
Green River Killer.
Serial killer. Washington State.
No, I've, no.
Alright, so he's incarcerated, I believe, in Walla Walla State Penitentiary.
Okay.
Okay? So they've decided that they are going to start vaccinating the incarcerated population over 65. So what does that mean, you ask? Okay, so that means, say your grandma wanted to get it. Say your grandma's 65. There's a possibility that the Green River Killer is going to be getting the vaccination before your grandma. Well, yeah, but you know what I'm saying. I'm just saying realistically.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
So people out here that have followed the law and done what they're supposed to be doing and want to take the vaccine because they're scared, he'll be getting it before they will. How's that sit?
I mean, so once again, I stand on the middle of the fence, so I'm kind of playing both sides of it. I know I'm normally not that way, and I always tell Helen to have your, both feet in one way, but this one I just want to see. So on this side, I see people getting frustrated with that because I want my grandma to have it. Why can't my grandma have it when she can still have a chance when those people had their chance?
Sure.
So then I'm playing this side of the fence. So then I can see, well, they're all getting it, so they're kind of like test dummies. They're going to pump it into them, and if they start popping 3 to 4 heads, like, well, we might want to send this back and probably take another look at it because it's
They're
like
"This isn't
radioactive
working out.
energy.
This
in
is
here."
not working out.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I get it. So, that was.
But I'm the same way. If you want to get it, I have no problem.
Yeah,
People want to
sure.
get it. If you don't want to get it, I don't feel like getting it because I just want to see more about it. That's what I want to see.
All right. Well, either way, that
was
was just a fun fact for you, and you didn't really answer my question with how you feel about incarcerated convicts getting the vaccine before your grandma. But that's the edge of the fence. No, it's messed up. Yeah, or middle of the road. That's what I meant. It's messed up. Your grandma should be able to get it first. Should go there last. Anyway. I'm in the middle too. Whatever.
I knew it.
All right, go.
I was waiting for it because I know you're upset, Mason. That wasn't it.
All right, go.
I knew it.
Go.
So my question for you
Okay.
is what I should have said last week, and it was perfect because I fed right off it and I totally spaced it. But what's like your most embarrassing moment? You, Pistol Pete, either in public or, say you're in the grocery store and you're opening the bag of the carton of eggs and you trip and you knock them all on the ground and everybody sees you. Is that your most embarrassing moment? Like, when were you most embarrassed? Face beat red, didn't want to look at anybody, nothing.
I don't know. I'm gonna listen. Can we put a pin at? Listen. It's not very often that Pistol Pete is speechless, but I'm gonna tell you right now. I try my damnedest to avoid those situations.
Okay.
100%. 100%. So, I think Little Pete got that from me too. I think she does the same thing.
That's awesome.
But I try my damnedest to avoid those kind of situations. I can see them coming from a mile away. And if there was one that just happened, like more like an impromptu thing, let me think about that, and if we'll put a pin in that, I'll get back to you on that next week, and we'll cover that. Because I'm sure there's got to be something, but there's nothing that can really just off the top of my head. Because like I said, I will try to avoid those situations at all
I'm putting
costs.
a pin in it.
Okay, so we'll do that. So I think that I got to tell you real quickly. So Margaret was listening to the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I was shocked because typically she's reading the newspaper.
Yeah, so
I didn't even know
she logged in.
I didn't even know she knew how to use electronics.
Password. I'm surprised she knew password.
It's probably is password because I'm guessing that's something you made. Because it says
right.
Username password. Oh yeah, that's right. That is what it is. Anyways, so she
got to change it now.
Called me out 100% last week after listening to it. Because I was, let's just say on one of the stories, I did shoot it to you straight. I just left out some of the details. So I think that we're going to issue an apology for not being 100% straight. And I'm going to tell you where we were wrong. So, remember me telling you the story about getting pulled over with my buddy in the out-of-state car? Well, a car with out-of-state plates. Mm-hmm. We were out-of-state. The car getting stripped. They harassed us. Remember, two no insurance tickets because I hadn't switched my... I got a ticket before we left, and then they held us over time so they could give us another ticket the next day, technically.
I'm an avid listener to the podcast.
Okay,
so
okay, perfect.
I
so you remember the story. Okay, so I left out the details. So, well, some of the details. That story was entirely true.
You obviously left some out.
Yeah, oh yeah, and she called me out the minute she realized. And I told her my justification was that we were trying to tread typically lightly on some of the things we weren't sure what we could say, could not say.
Right.
And didn't want to, obviously get kicked off of whatever before we even start. Right. And then she brought to my attention some of the things that she's heard in podcasts. You brought to my attention, you listen to a podcast and
There's a few things on there.
some dude talked about teabagging his roommate in college
All
or
right,
whatever.
I guess we're just gonna go out.
We're going for it now.
Okay.
So I was like, you know what, you're right. So I should probably issue or tell you the part of the story that
I mean, that's
left
not
out.
all the podcasts I listen to. I'm just telling you. I'm just saying that's some of the messed up. That's
I
one
thought
of the
that's
messed
what
up
you were
things
like.
I've
No,
seen
I
on
listened to
podcasts.
this one where he talks about teabagging this guy and teabagging
I know, but that
guy.
makes me sound different. Like I'm just into like dudes teabagging dudes. I'm just saying.
So your podcast selection is more diverse than just dudes
that
teabagging
far
and teabag.
into his story,
Okay,
and
so
it was oof, everywhere.
okay,
But anyways,
so I'm
yes.
gonna tell you about the part of the story that I left out.
Yeah, well, shoot.
So when I convinced my buddy to let them search the car so that these backwood hillbillies don't end up arresting us. This was like a giant good old boys club, 100%.
Yeah,
He told us that it was the mandatory canine search. It wasn't a mandatory canine search. From watching the canine work, it was a new canine search, and it was just like 6 good old boys harassing 2 young kids, is what the story really was. And when I finally convinced my buddy just to be quiet and let's get out of the car and let them do their business so that we can just go.
We can get on with our business.
Yeah, I didn't know I was still going to get the no insurance ticket. I didn't know that was on his agenda after midnight. But, so we get out and we're standing. He put us both in handcuffs. So we're standing behind our car in between his patrol cruiser in handcuffs. And one of the good old boys pulls out the tire iron, not the star, like the 90-degree one, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "What the shit is this?" And I said, well, last time I used one of those, I used it to change a tire. I don't know what you guys use it for. And he took me and spun me around and slammed me right over the hood of his car. And I can only hope his dash cam was on. I'm going to assume how the night was going that they had turned them off. This was like pre-body cam and that kind of stuff, so there probably wasn't that big of an explanation about why his dash cam was off. Slams me onto the hood of the car and then starts to pat me down because he tells me that if I don't quit running my mouth, he's going to take me to jail for a concealed weapon because the tire iron was under the seat of the car. So as he's patting me down, he gets to about my waistline and he hits my belt with his hand, like the belt buckle area. And there's about that, what did I say? The one guy and the dog, so there was him and 5 others standing there. And he says, "What do you got right here? What's this?" Can you imagine what came out of my mouth next? I said, "That's my dick." And he says, "Oh shit, that's his penis." You never seen the 5 of those dudes
Oh, yeah.
let go of me and let me stand straight up quicker in your life.
Oh, yeah. I believe it.
So I can only hope that his other 4 buddies that were standing there, because the other dude was busy tearing through my car, I can only hope that his other 4 buddies got back to their station or wherever they were at, and they're like, "You're never going to believe what this dude did. He's out there feeling up this dude. I got the video on the dash cam."
Yeah.
And I hope that they harassed and ridiculed that guy for the remainder of the time that he worked there.
So that was his most embarrassing moment?
I would say that was probably his most embarrassing moment of his entire life. Because he stumbled and he paused and he let me go and I stood up and my buddy was laughing so hard I thought he was going to choke on his own saliva. It was pretty funny. So
that's messed up.
I just want to say I'm sorry that I didn't shoot it entirely straight.
Forgive you.
It was pretty straight. But now,
You want to hear my most embarrassing moment?
I do.
So, mine was, as I told you, I was riding that 10-speed from Coeur d'Alene to the sporting goods store
Oh, yeah,
where I was
that's
working.
classic.
So, when I was riding there, they were doing work on Greens Ferry and prairie. So it was gravel. Well, if you ever been on a 10-speed bike, gravel and skinny little tires, they don't mesh, right? And so it's construction. So there's lines. There's a line of cars. Boom this way, boom that way, boom this way, boom that way. So there's a guy spinning the flag. He's letting them in, letting them out. So, I stop. I'm in the gravel, and I start stopping, and boom, right over the handlebars, face plant right on the pavement,
Right in front of the flagger and all the
flagger. There's like at least 40 cars, at least, and I'm dead center
in your sporting goods outfit,
and I'm dead center intersection, and just case it, and the guy's just like, "Oh shit, you okay, man?" And I was just like,
dude, I'd have told you to walk it off.
Oh, I got up so fast, head straight down, and didn't look at nobody, and I just started pedaling as fast as I could, just as fast as I could down prairie. And 10 to 15 cars coming from behind me, all seen it. So they're all going to drop by slow, look at me, just going like, staring at me, trying to see me. So I'm hoping maybe one day someone that was there will hear the podcast. I'm like, oh my gosh, that was him.
That dude in the sporting good outfit just totally case it in the middle of the
and when you eat shit on your bike, your handlebars are jacked up. So, straight wheel was like this, and I'm rolling down the road, and people are just like staring at me, just like, what? That guy can stop and fix his bike. I'm just like, don't even look at him. Don't even go. So oh yeah, I was embarrassed. Most embarrassed moment of my life. Hands down.
All right. I will put some serious thought into my most embarrassing.
Yes, I want to hear it.
We'll
next week.
Pin that.
Yes,
and we'll talk about that next week.
I want to hear it.
And then maybe you can share some other embarrassing. Maybe I'll come up with 2 or 3. Like I said, I tried to avoid it, so it might be rare, but I'm sure it's happened.
I want to hear it. But man, it's I think that's kind of what I've got this week.
I think that's it. I think we shot it pretty straight there.
Yeah, you reined her back. You straightened her back out. You got your AO shooting straight again. You were kind of off target a little bit last week.
I told you the story was 100% true. There was a couple of details left out.
Deets.
Now it's out of the bag, so who knows what happens from
now
there.
We're up and rolling.
All right, that's it for Shooting It Straight. I'm Pistol Pete.
And Ricky Revolver. Thanks for giving us a listen, guys.
Later, guys.